4 years to the day, it is time to run it back with the OGs here on the anniversary special of the In or Out Sports Debate.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. The wait is over.
Let's get this thing started.
Go!
Welcome, one and all across the nation and around the world. I welcome you all to episode 112 of the In or Out Sports Debate. I am your host, Drew Willingham, and we are back for the 4-year anniversary special, as you see with the graphic, as I said at the beginning, and as you saw after the intro. We are back 112 episodes in 4 years after everything that I've been through personally, and then, Robb and I started this unit together. We're back on the 4-year anniversary special. And like I just alluded to with Robb, he was here with me for the first 11 episodes. We switched up gears and had rotational panelists each and every week. And now we're back on the 4-year anniversary special. The man who leads you with Robb Johnson Entertainment, which you can find him on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all major platforms, crushing it out here in these streets and in these streams. Someone that definitely has been a big inspiration to me and why this show still has the heartbeat of what it does today. The 15-time Vault of Fame inductee from Legacy Maker Sports Network. Give it up for my brother out here in these streams and these streets, Robb Johnson. Welcome back, brother.
Yeah, and Robb Johnson Media. Make sure you guys follow that. I would do the 15-time like Booker T, but my throat hurts. I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing 15 times. That's a lot of 15 times.
When you hit 16 times by the end of the show, I'm going to have to do the woo for you if you don't have the woo in you to do it, because you're going to hit 16 times. You are going to be a woo champion tonight. And just like in that belt behind us, and the In or Out Sports Debate plate is on that, you are just as big a part of this whole thing as I am, man. So thank you for everything. I've told you off there, and I'll tell you here. This wouldn't be possible without you, and I look forward to crushing yet another episode tonight. And we have to pay homage to others as well before we get started, as always, with the Vault of Fame here, brought to you by SIRTOBA Media.
Acknowledge me.
Man, you took me back. This is why this show was so important, and this is why I am personally validating and vouching for this show. If you are anybody in media, sports, professional wrestling, anything, you need to be on In or Out Sports Debate with my man Drew Willingham because this has got to be one of the most fun things I've ever done in a long time.
That's right. That's the In or Out Sports Debate Vault of Fame, which you can find here on these audio platforms listed here on Amazon Prime, Google Podcast, Anchor.fm, and on iTunes, as well as on these audio platforms, on these video platforms right here on Facebook, Instagram, X, and on YouTube, and as well as at SIRTOBA Media's website at SIRTOBA.com, where the struggle is real to be awesome. But we are back for the 4-year anniversary special on episode 112's In or Out Sports Debate. With that being said, let's not delay it any further. Rob, let's take it into round one.
Round one.
And here with round one, let's take it to baseball for a minute. You know, something you and I follow quite a bit, you know, with baseball here. And Trevor Bauer needs to sue Major League Baseball in order to have a chance at being reinstated after 3 years persona non grata. It comes to this statement right here, Rob. What do you feel about this one? Are you in or are you out on this?
I'm out 1,000%. All right, so I did some digging, right? Before I get into that, we all know about the Deshaun Watson situation, what happened in Texas. Well, we all know, let's be honest, folks. I don't want to be political here because everybody knows I'm an independent. I don't have no political party.
Fact.
California is more of a liberal state. Texas is more of a conservative state. Deshaun Watson did not get charged in Texas. I was always questioning, was that a Texan setup? Because he admitted he had relations with those women. He had relations, you know. There was, you know, some situations here and there. There were even some situations where some of the women even came online and admitted that they were closer. They tried to get with him, and things didn't work out the way they wanted it to. Well, in Trevor Bauer's case, not that he should sue Major League Baseball, but the Dodgers should be held accountable, in my opinion. In fact, they should have some draft picks taken away. There's some other things that need to happen. Because here's a fact. When Deshaun Watson signed with the Browns, yes, he was still going through stuff, but we knew that he wasn't going to be criminally charged. But there were civil suits going on. There were civil suits. Now, in Trevor Bauer's case, there are magazines that he actually sued, and a judge actually struck that down. Before he signed with the Dodgers, he had a quote-unquote, and I'm reading here, he had a quote-unquote reputation of abusive behavior, and he also harassed 2 women online. And separate from the thing where he had the sexual assault, there was a situation where he had allegedly harassed a woman in Ohio. So, yes, he had 19 strikeouts in the Mexican League. I get all that. But what is he, 83 and 69? Every time we looked, he had, 1 year, 2-year contracts. He finally got the big deal from the Dodgers. But he's 33 years old, soon to be 34. There are a lot of unanswered questions. And like I said again, I'm taking into effect that, yes, he was probably out as long as Deshaun Watson was. Difference is that Deshaun Watson in Texas was not criminally charged. In California, you know, and then for this instance as well, baseball did their own investigation, 324 games, then it got reduced down. What did baseball really find that would give you 324 games? So at the age of 33, almost 34, I would say no. I think it's bad pub for MLB that already still has a guy who we still question, did he really cheat? Did he really not? And Shohei Ohtani, and that's your biggest star. And you had to move heaven and earth to even clear his name. So I just don't see it. It's no point in suing. Like I said, if there wasn't a reputation already there, then I would say, you know, maybe do something, maybe say something against the league. You know, Colin Kaepernick sued the NFL, but that was behind closed doors. He never came back ever again. And all he did was take a knee. This guy was accused of a lot worse. So, no, he ain't coming back. Unless he wants to sue baseball quietly and make an agreement, it ain't happening. It's not happening. Baseball has deep roots, deep pockets. People think NFL is deep. Major League Baseball can be a lot deeper with their pockets. So I don't see it.
Okay, you bring some really valid points to that. And it's hard for me to go the other way, but for the sake of debate, I'm going to have to disagree. I'm going to have to go in. It's for a lot of the reasons that you just stated that made me think about this right here. And for other things I thought about before we even went on the air as well too. But it's like you said, it's a really good chance he's not coming back with the way he's been blackballed at this point. Okay. So putting all that into perspective and thinking about how he has had success outside of Major League Baseball the past 2 seasons, with MPB stats, like you said, with last year, he was 10-4 with a 2.76 ERA, which is way better than what he had in MLB through the 2021 season. But when you think about all that, he's not facing the same type of competition that he's facing when he's in the MLB. Even though he did have some scrimmage games that it was highly publicized, and you think about where he was there, he was striking out batters and doing well in those scrimmage games, but that's not actually playing in the MLB. You might have a better ERA playing against professional players that are in other leagues that aren't quite up to par from what you would see in competition in MLB. Because he's got the bad reputation of being aggressive, physical, and all that stuff that we've already, been through years ago when this all first came out and debated on this show whether we'd see him again. Now we're at the point, it's not debating on if we're going to see him again in the MLB. It's if he needs to sue the MLB for pretty much lost wages that he feels like he's going to be missing out on because he's not around. Now, the Dodgers did pick up the $22 million tab last year and pay that along with what he was making, which was $4 million in the MPB. But it's a big loss when you come to 2024 and he's not getting anything. And he's played in the Mexican League, like you said, and has been leading the league halfway through their season, but isn't getting a look in Major League Baseball, which when it comes to talent and when it comes to second chances, you should give him one. But to the nature of the way things were when it came to the allegations, they're trying to stay away from that publicity. And I think the other thing that's potentially hurting him too is, even though it's been beneficial for getting an understanding behind the scenes, is his YouTube channel, because he has talked about some controversial things within the game or himself, to where maybe when they look at his YouTube clips, they're like, well, we don't want to bring that back into the game, or at least have that. And maybe there's some type of issue along with that to where he doesn't want to give up the YouTube channel. But when you factor all that in to where he was before and to where he is now, maybe if it was an offer to give up the YouTube channel and go play Major League Baseball again, I would say yes, especially with him being at the age in his career in the contract that he had before he got out. But I don't think with everything that's happened that he's going to come close to sniffing a big contract like that again, which is why, because of lost wages and because the way that the case has gone against him out here in the court of public, I don't think that, he has any other choice but to sue the league. Do you have a rebuttal to that?
He can try it. I think he'll be I think he'll be wasting his money. Again, 83 and 69. He's been, I'm not gonna say he's an average player, but he was always a good player. But I just don't think at this point it makes any sense. Why not just continue to the YouTube channel, make that profitable, continue to pitch in the Mexican League, make that profitable. Rehash your image. You have to rehash your image, because if not, what are you really doing? You're wasting money, you're wasting time, and you don't want to become an enemy of Major League Baseball, and you don't want to waste the government's time by trying to go to federal court or doing something crazy like that, because, just don't waste your time, buddy. But if he feels that way, and also the woman he had the sexual harassment suit against, she countersued him. So they both countersued each other. And guess what? Nobody came out with no money. So somebody's lying.
But that's my point, because it's not like he's been prosecuted with everything.
Oh, no, I totally agree. But
yeah.
Unfortunately, in this world we live in, the court of public opinion matters, but it really doesn't matter because it's not the courtroom. I wish every American citizen had to sit down and actually go to a court case and realize how it really worked. Yes, he wasn't prosecuted, but you know how we live now in this new age world. Do I think he deserves a second chance? Why not? But again, just like a lot of guys who are out the game a couple of years, court public opinion and the way the movements are and everything else, and how social media can be manipulated into a lie, even if it isn't the truth. Come on, man. People out here believe anything. People out here get on social media, internet. Somebody posts something, and everybody believes it. So, I mean, but it was documented that he'd had a reputation of being aggressive against women. We know that. Now, when it comes to sexual harassment, we don't know if that's true. But the reputation he has, that is proven to be true. But the big one is the sexual harassment. Nobody ever proved it. He wasn't prosecuted. So should he give that a second chance? Yes. Suing Major League Baseball, that's a waste of his time. But should he get a second chance? I do. But suing, no.
Would you agree that the Ray Rice situation was worse than this?
Yeah, you know why? Because it was on video.
Okay, well, he sued the league and got $3.5 million, which is my point. So if he can get $3.5 million for actually being on film and being found guilty of it, then why can't Trevor Bauer get some money out of this when he doesn't have any valid proof?
Because that was 2012. And we're it's 2024, and the world is drastically different than now. If this happened to Trevor Bauer in 2010, 2012, oh yeah, he could sue him big time. But I'm saying the world we live in now is drastically different than the world we lived in then.
I know. I mean, I'm with you on that. It's just how is it ethically correct to not allow that to happen, to not allow him to sue it and get something out of it?
Unfortunately, because I cover court and do stuff like that, when it comes to the courts, there are no ethics. There are no ethics. You got 12 people sitting on the jury, so at times, who really don't know what happened, who just want to go home, and sometimes they just convict people. So when it comes to the courts at times, it's not. Now, do I think he should get another chance? Definitely, get another chance. But as far as suing, I just don't think that's going to work. Because, see, the thing is, when you are the NFL, when you're the NBA, when you're Major League Baseball, you run the media. You run the media. So you get the media to do anything you want. You get them to spin any story you want. And when it comes to sexual assault, things like that, that's just a dirty word, especially on social media. Now with TikTok and all these social medias, no, that's not gonna happen. Now, would it be possible for him to possibly get a second chance and they could spin that? Yes. But him suing, no, not this day and time. Do I think that he would have a case in a sense? He could for about $10 million. I'll give it $10-15 million. But again, if anybody's going to be punished, it should be the Dodgers. The Dodgers. Well,
yeah, they have to pay. They'll probably be forced to pay it. Yeah, or if you sue the Dodgers or Major League Baseball together. Well, it's like if Ray Rice, if he could sue them, they settled. They didn't even go to court over. They settled in court. But it's like if they can have that option, then I feel like Trevor Bauer should have that option, and he doesn't even have video proof on him, regardless if it's a 12-year difference or not.
Well, no, I agree, but that's what I'm saying. The world is drastically different. Things change each year. But again, he does have reputation. So the Dodgers knew he had a reputation. So you're not suing Major League Baseball now. You could sue the Dodgers. You could sue the Dodgers in a sense because the Dodgers did know. It says it right here. The Dodgers knew he had a reputation, but they ignored it because they wanted to bring in some talent. They needed pitching help. You can sue the Dodgers, not Major League Baseball, but you can sue the Dodgers. I agree with the Dodgers, not Major League Baseball, because that's a waste of your time. Now, the Dodgers, yes, you can sue the Dodgers. I agree with that.
I just feel like if Ray Rice sued the league rather than the Ravens and he got what he got out of it, you'd have a better chance of getting more money out of it if you were to sue the league instead of the individual team. Because the team's going to say, well, we honored the 2023 contract and gave you the $22 million. But beyond that is what the problem is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They had to. I mean, you sign for guarantee. That's the thing with Major League Baseball. You have guaranteed money, you get your money. Mm-hmm. But like I said, it's a different world we live in. The courts are different than they were 12 years ago. The laws are different than they were 12 years ago. I mean, yes, he was on videotape and it was a heinous act, but like I said, it's not a different case. But again, when you have reputation, the Dodgers knew he had, and it involves, because unfortunately, we see violence with both men and women all the time, not only on television, but we see it everywhere. But then I'm not going to say that type of violence has become numb, but it's kind of sad in a sense because you go on TikTok, you look on social media, you got men hitting women, you got women hitting men. It's just a sad occurrence that I feel like it's almost become numb in the society, which is, again, I don't condone it, but it's kind of a sad thing that's being condoned. But when it comes to sexual assault, that feels like the trigger word that makes everybody lose it, and justly so. And then sometimes you have people who accused folks of doing things that they did not do. But let's say, I don't know what the situation was. Maybe they were involved. I don't know what happened with Trevor and the woman. Were they involved? Did she get mad? Did he break up with her? Blah, blah, blah. We don't know. But that can hurt a person's career more, it feels like, than, you know. I mean, look at Joe Mixon. He knocked the girl out.
Yep.
He knocked the girl out. But then again, that was a little bit later on. You know, even a difference of 3 to 4 or 5 years, things change. People look at things differently, unfortunately. And when it comes to the courts, I just don't think, and because he's already had suits thrown out against major magazines. And some of those magazines and those publications are not as big as Major League Baseball. So the Supreme Court is already, I believe it was a New York judge, I believe, who threw those cases out. They're going to throw this out as well. It's not going to happen. Now, if he went to the Dodgers probably, and let's say he has something on him, they'll call him some more money. Who knows? He may have stuff on the Dodgers. You never know. Somebody always has dirt. You can hire private investigators, blah, blah, blah. But messing with MLB might not get you home that night. So, it's like.
You think there's going to be some mafia stuff in there?
Hey, listen. I mean, come on. I mean, let's be real now. I mean, look at the movie about concussions. You think you see how badly that movie did? It did badly for a reason. When they want stuff to get out, they'll let it get out. When they don't, they don't. And they know how to take care of their problems.
Okay.
So, and if I'm Trevor Bauer, continue to pitch, do what you do, and I will wait till next year. But I will clean up my image a little bit. The politics should have absolutely nothing to do with it. But what I would do is I would see if I can get a worldwide tour. Go sit on Undisputed. Go sit on First Take. Go talk to this person, that person. Hell, go talk to Oprah. Go talk to Gail. You know, put a suit on. You know what I'm saying? Put a suit on. Put your best smile on. You know, say that you donated to some tribe in Africa or something like that. Say that you love the American public, and just say, you know what? I want to be back in baseball. I'm a good guy. You've got to, you know, go out and have a live where you donate to the homeless or something. Just like you're the best person ever. Even if you're not, do that and you'll get back in baseball. All you gotta do is kiss ass these days, and all you gotta do, you can get back to wherever you want to get back to. So good luck to you, Trevor Bauer. Kiss a lot of ass this offseason and get back in baseball.
Hey, shake hands and kiss babies.
Honest. It's it.
Shake hands, kiss babies.
Hey, it happened for Bill. Hey, it happened for Bill Clinton. It happened for Bill Clinton. Their crew, they've been committing. Never mind. Let me be quiet.
Yeah, that what you sent the other day, I laughed so hard at that, the Bill and Monica thing. Like that.
No comment. Wild. I don't want to get in trouble.
That was wild. But you know, right here we gotta acknowledge the comments. We got Ike in the house saying yo, along with what's up, fellas? And congrats on 4 years. But thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Definitely been a wild ride, but got 112 great episodes now in the books almost. Well, only through one round. We got 4 more to go. Subscribe now. Never miss out on new content. I'm going to extend it to as well as Legacy Maker Sports Network. Make sure you go check that channel out. Rob's doing a lot of great work on there along with the other guys over there at the network and gals over there. But take a look at that channel. You can find the first 90 episodes of this show on that channel, which you can see in the playlist on this channel as well. To pay homage to them.
And just remember, Drew, if Chad Gable can come back from the dead, we can all make a better day for ourselves.
Don't spoil it for me because I got to watch it after the show. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I didn't say he came back from the dead. I didn't tell you if he was a zombie or not. Zombies.
Oh yeah. See, all right. I'll let you know what I see after the show when I go check it out, and I'll respond to that after I check it out. But Bauer has been crushing overseas. He could get banked there too.
I mean, Dwight Howard owns a team. I mean, who knows? I mean, he go to Japan and really dominate. I mean, why not?
Facts.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, Dwight Howard owns the team.
Ike says he agrees with you on this. He says don't sue the league.
Sue Joe Biden.
Drew and Rob, what's happening, fellas? Ryan McCarthy says, and speaking of that, with Ryan McCarthy in the house, we gotta go ahead and take it to this point of the show before we go to round 2. Got some breaking news there for next week. That breaking news is this. Next week, episode 113, the In or Out Sports Debate has no credentials required hosts Dustin Henry and Ryan McCarthy, the one you saw previously in the comments section. They'll be here next Monday, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time for episode 113 of this show. Make sure you guys come on back for that one there. With that being said, it is about time that we take this unit on into another round after we acknowledge the fact that we kind of were split on that first one there, Rob. We were split on it. It's all good. Let the people say what they think. So far, you're up because Ike said he agrees with you. Because people decide who wins in these rounds if we're against each other. If we're with each other, then it is what it is. But when we're debating on it, they got to tell us. And so far, Ike is the one that told us what he felt. With that being said, we'll take it into round two. See what we got in store for that one.
Round 2.
Here's round two. New injury reserve rules issued by the NFL for postseason teams will impact future games negatively. With this being said, Rob, how do you feel about this one? Do you agree with the statement at hand? Are you in or are you out on this?
Negatively. I'm out. I really don't have too much to say about this topic because here's the bottom line. You know who it's going to help? It's going to help teams like the 49ers. It's going to help teams like that who are injured every year, who need players to come back. If you make the playoffs, you've earned the playoffs. So why not? Honestly, why not? Why not have a situation where if you're injured and your team makes the playoffs, now, do I think there should be some restrictions? Possibly. I think you need to play. I think you need to play at least a minimum of 4 or 5 games, something like that. But then again, if you get hurt in the preseason, which a lot of starters should not be playing in the preseason, that should be more about your secondary players, or it should be about you only play maybe like a series or two. You shouldn't get hurt in a series or two. I think that's a good move, and I think, like I said, it'll benefit teams like the 49ers who it's who it's really kind of affected the last few years. Now, if you go back to the Green Bay Packers, they had 16? They had 16, 17 players on the IR, stuff like that, but they still won a Super Bowl. So, but just imagine if they'd had those players when they won a Super Bowl against Pittsburgh. So it's kind of an iffy thing. I don't think it'll be negative at all because I think if you make the playoffs, players should be allowed to come back. So I really don't see the downside in it, honestly. I don't see the downside.
With all that being said, you're on the same page as me. I agree with this. I'm out as well. If anything, you're getting a little bit more help. It's especially when it comes to the way injuries and how they can be judged, how they can affect a team's production, depending on who the player is and what their impact is to the team, depending on what the position is and the skill set and all that. A lot of that has to make a difference when it comes to when an injury takes place. So when I put all that in perspective, and I think based on what Rob said, you got to play your pieces at bay the best you can when it comes to these injury reserve rules, the way they were before this and now with the new rules in play, because you get a couple extra slots. So putting all that together, as long as you can play the game of chess very well, because football, very similar to chess in the way you make moves, calculated moves, when you put people on the injury reserve list, depending on the type of injuries they have and how you take them off, all that makes a big difference in how you win this game. Game of football, game of life. With that being said, I agree with what you had to say there.
Well, I'll say this as well, and I know this is going to sound like a crazy idea, but imagine you have a team. Okay, let's say you have a player, right? And let's say he's coming up on the last year of his contract. And he's going to be a free agent. He's going to be a free agent in the summer anyway. Now, let's say, the team can only not make the playoffs, so you can't make the playoffs. Let's say that team and that player says, you know what? I don't want to play for you anymore. I don't want to wait for free agency. I know my contract's coming up. Let's say the team in the playoffs has an injury. That player, let's say that they lose a starting running back, a starting wide receiver, a starting quarterback. Let's say that player, hey, I want to be traded to that team if they lose their player in the playoffs. I know it wouldn't be fair to do that, but let's say that they did that. That player would have to that player. I don't know how you would do it, but I've always thought about that. Like teams who don't make the playoffs, and you're coming up on your final year of your contract, could you somehow go to another team that's in the playoffs, or you're already going to be a free agent, but you would have to sign with that team. You would have to sign with that team, or you have to give up some type of. You would have to give up some type of compensation, right? So you would have to give up some type of compensation to that team. Let's say you're going to be a free agent, and let's say you want to go play for a playoff team. You got to give that team $2 million. Let's see how much you really want to win. You got to give the team $2, $3, maybe even $4 million. That's the ransom. You want to go to the playoffs? You want to win that badly? Let's see how badly you want to win. That would never ever happen, but it would be so interesting to see how many guys really want to win. You want to go play? Oh my goodness! The 49ers just lost Brock Purdy in the NFC Championship game. They're going to the Super Bowl. You want to go be quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers? Pay us $4 million. Let's see how much you really want to play. Again, that's never going to happen, but it would be very, very interesting to see who really wants to win. But getting back to the subject at hand, yeah, man, you work all summer long. You work in training camp. You go to OTAs. If you get hurt on a freak accident and you can come back for the playoffs, let's say even if the Super Bowl is there and you come back, you should come back and play because you've been putting in the work all year. It's not like you're just like, oh, I'm just coming to the season. No, football is a tough game. Tom Brady said this. Speaking of Tom Brady, football is a hard game. That's what he said. It's a hard game, and you have to work hard at it. So you should not limit anybody ever.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%, which is why we're on the same page with this topic right here. And, people let us know what you think here in the comments as you're watching on X or on YouTube, LinkedIn, or on Twitch right now.
But let me ask you, do you think somebody would be bold enough to pay $4 million to the team to get their release so they could go win a Super Bowl? Do you think somebody would do that? You think anybody would love winning that much?
I mean, if you're the Chiefs right now trying to get to 3 straight, think you'll do that for one. But for two, also for teams out there that are so close, like the Lions that need that extra little leg up, I think it'd be worth it for the first time in franchise's history to get their first Super Bowl if it costs them $4 million.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a quarterback out there and Jared Goff went down, think about that. I could go play for the Lions. All I got to do is pay $4 million, especially if you're like, I mean, think about this. I mean, let's just throw it out in there. Let's say Washington has like one of their craziest seasons and they get all the NFC Championship game. Jaden Daniels gets hurt. You think another guy wouldn't clamor to do that? You know how much would winning in DC? Like you would never have to buy anything ever again. In Detroit, you would never have to buy anything again.
We've seen it. We've seen it with doing media at FedEx Field. How Doug Williams is treated. We've seen he's treated with royalty there because he's the reason why he's part of the reason why they have one of their 3 Super Bowls. He won the second one. Doug
Williams probably hasn't bought a hamburger in DC in probably the last 30 years. I mean, he's royalty.
That's the only time those 2 quarterbacks between him and Mark Rippon. That's the only time they had real success was the time they won the Super Bowl. Those years.
So just look at the cities like Houston. Look at Detroit. Look at places like that who are starved for a title. Now we have teams out there who have Super Bowl championships. I mean, the fans are used to it, but some franchises. I mean, even you look at the NFC East. Everybody's rich with championships. From the Cowboys, the Giants, the Eagles, Cowboys, they dominated the 90s basically. But some of those franchises who don't have championships, man, just imagine you going there as a free agent and you winning a championship and being the reason. You're royalty for life. So yeah, let me ask you that real quick. Do you think if you're a player and you're starved for a championship, you know that franchises, and you had it, but you had the money, wouldn't you pay $4 million to go play for a team? Damn right. I know I would if I had it. But again, your topic at hand, I totally agree. Like, guys work so hard in this game, and I don't know how much women's football a lot of people watch out there, but I don't know their rules as far as the playoffs go, as far as injury reserve, stuff like that. But you just imagine the women, the men, how hard they got to practice, how much they got going on, and then the women, they got anybody out there who hasn't seen a women's game and their struggle. Go check out their struggle. Go check out their struggle because this football thing is not easy, folks. And if you've been working your butt off for all these years, hey, look, man, you should be able to come back. I have no problem with it.
Hey, the risk deserves the reward, and
Exactly.
If you're just tuning in, this is episode 112 of the In or Out Sports Debate, brought to you by SIRTOBA Media. And shout out to Legacy Maker Sports, who's in the comments. The platform that bridged the gap to get this thing started as we celebrate the 4-year anniversary today. Robb's wearing the shirt. Robb's part of it. He's part of this whole thing. 15 times coming into this show. He's going to be doing a woo by the end of the show to celebrate 16 times. I'll do it. There's your woo right there. I'll do it one more time by the end. But with that being said, we got a few comments here in the chat we got to acknowledge real quick. And then, like I said, Legacy Maker Sports in the house. 4-year anniversary. Congrats on everything. Well-deserved achievement. It's yours, too. It's Robb's, too. It's all of our achievement. The collaborations together. 40 different people have been on this show in 112 episodes. It's amazing to have the amount of content that has come from this. All of you guys put forth and do it, so I greatly appreciate it. And just like with Legacy Maker Sports Network, make sure for them, too, if you're just tuning in, you haven't seen them on here, subscribe now. Never miss out on new content from them, as well as here on SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. And with that being said, I haven't clicked this button yet. I'll give it to you people real quick.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
The question comes in, too, that we have to acknowledge. Who is the closest to getting ring number 1? The Lions, the Texans, or the Browns? I'll go first, Robb, and then I'll let you follow on this one. I think the Texans are in a really good place to get a ring, even though the Lions got a little bit further last year, and they've been building something really special there. I just got a feeling that the Texans are really brewing up something special, and wouldn't it be cool if we saw the Texans and the Lions in the Super Bowl? If they both got over the hump enough to where we are guaranteed a whole new Super Bowl champion if that were to come into place. I think that would be pretty cool. Now, at the moment, you would think, and most people would say, Lions are better stacked, and especially with the way they've improved. They've been biting off kneecaps. They are there. They're them. They're ready. They're hungry, okay? But I just have a feeling about these Lions. CJ Stroud, the way that he changed that offense. And if they can get Stephon Diggs to get his hair out of his rear mother, father, and end and actually play team football, which is a good chance. And for my man Cole Johnson, who I share Total Football Talk each and every week, bing, and shout out to Kyle Nash for bing. Right then and there, in this moment, I got to give love to the Texans and from my man Cole Johnson, who deserves to have a championship in Texas that isn't by the Cowboys, because the Cowboys aren't getting anywhere close to the Super Bowl anytime soon. I'm sorry, Robb, but they're just not in comparison to the Lions or the Texans. The Browns, no, the Browns are a little bit further off, in my opinion, between the Texans and the Lions, and I'm going with the Texans.
Well, these 3 franchises have, they're not, for you, maybe like 10 years ago, we would say they weren't even close to a Super Bowl. Just like the Phillies tonight, who, for the first time since 1929, hit a record for a triple play, which is like the craziest thing I've ever seen. I just saw the thing right here. But 1929 wasn't the greatest year in the world, so we're not going to talk about 1929 for a multitude of reasons. Jesus Christ. But anyway. If it's me, honestly, I look at the Lions. I have to see the Lions be consistent. I have to see the Lions do it 2 years in a row. Can Jared Goff do it after he gets paid? Once he got paid in LA, kind of got a little hard.
I said that earlier today. Great.
The Texans,
point.
Yep. The Texans. People don't understand this. The AFC South is really hard now. I mean, really hard. The Jaguars are there. The Colts are coming, folks. The Colts are no joke. And I would not sleep too much on the Tennessee Titans. You can laugh at the quarterback all you want to for eating mayonnaise. But that team has a bevy of weapons, and that defense is still going to be strong. I think Cleveland, they get Chubb back. I think Jerry Jeudy's going to actually have his breakout year in Cleveland. You still have what's his name? Number 2. I can't even think of his name right now. Jesus Christ, what is his name?
On the Broncos?
No. For the Cleveland Browns, number 2. He played for the Cowboys a few years ago. What is wrong with me?
Oh, Amari
Think of
Cooper.
his name?
Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Thank you. My brain.
Mine
went to
was
another
too.
mode.
I was having a brain fart for a second. I feel you on that.
Yeah, I'm like Amari Cooper. Yeah, well, that's how much he disappears in games. But anyway, Amari Cooper, and you got David Njoku. You got so many weapons in Cleveland. I think that the Cleveland Browns, I think Deshaun Watson's last game against the Ravens, fourth quarter, 14-14. I think it's 12-12, 14-14. Had a great fourth quarter before the injury. He was hurt during the game. I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to come out strong. I think they're going to blast Dallas by 30 in the first game. They played Dallas with Tom Brady on the broadcast. I think they beat Dallas by at least 20 to 30 points. Come out and make a statement first game. That division is really hard. But I think Cleveland is the closest because I still need to see consistency from the Detroit Lions and the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the Detroit Lions and the Houston Texans. But the Texans. But if the Texans can come out strong, all bets are off.
I just don't believe in Deshaun Watson that much, and I really want to see the Texans do it without him after everything that happened. I just think that would be a pretty cool story. It's like the comeback story.
It would be. Yeah. Oh no, it would be. And they got to the second round last year. That's the same place they got with him. But remember, his best year he had in Houston, he was throwing to nobody. So, and like I said, we still don't know if the Houston. Remember, he was getting some of the signs on the Houston Texans facilities, and it was on their dime, and they knew what was going on. So, I mean, who knows? And he was trying to get trade from him. Blah blah blah. The Houston Texans have been known to be a little bit of a dirty franchise. Blah blah blah. Whatever. But at the same time, the Houston Texans, if they can start out hot, I think that they'll be able to be that team that'll be the best to get these shots. But I don't know, man. I just think that Cleveland is closer than people think. I think they're a good team. Watson's touchdown interception ratio is still really, really good. I mean, of course, he got the 236, but Trevor Lawrence got the 200. But Trevor Lawrence's numbers are a lot worse. So it's that Clemson connection. It's that Clemson thing. I don't know what's, maybe it's, So hey, at the end of the day, I think that this year is his fatal year, in a sense. If he comes out and struggles a lot this year, I can see them probably trying to trade him and get rid of him. I can see that. But I think Cleveland has a good year. I think Cleveland's defense is legit. I think that they bring back a lot of good pieces. You still got Myles Garrett. So as long as you got Myles Garrett, you still got a chance. But out of all these teams, I put it Browns 1, Texans 1A, and I put 2, the Detroit Lions. Because I think the Lions are in a tough division with the Packers and the Chicago Bears. And am I favoring the Bears to win that division? Got to wait for that one.
Hey, yeah, we're not quite there yet. It's still June, but definitely a great question that was posed from you guys. So I greatly appreciate that. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and take our first commercial break. When we come back here in about 2 minutes, we still have 3 great rounds. We'll see you guys here on the other side.
Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast, every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, look. Hey, stop playing games. Y'all already know. Go ahead and toss him some Willie Bucks. Ain't nobody playing around. $, D Willie 87. Go ahead, hit him up on the Cash App, and go ahead and give him some Willie Bucks. Look at Drew looking stoic, ladies and gentlemen. Stoic on that $10 bill. So go ahead, slide my man over some Willie Bucks, and we good. That's all I'm saying. We good. How about some Willie Bucks?
Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered the winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text delete, 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 delete.
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the SIRTOBA Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels.
Welcome back to the In or Out Sports Debate, episode 112, the 4-year anniversary special edition. Myself and Rob Johnson are back. We got 3 more great rounds to go through here on this show. With that being said, let's go ahead and take it into round 3. And you know what? Can't take it into round 3 yet. Got a little typo on the show. Shout out to StreamYard, by the way, before we go any further. StreamYard decided somehow in the streams it was going to remove the actual round from the pack. But the good thing is your boys prepared has on the background, re-uploading that unit real quick. Just going to talk to the people real quick, take a few seconds while it's processing to tell you that we are about to take this unit into one more jam-packed round 3.
Round 3.
Gotta love typos out here in these streams. When it comes to that, let's take it into something cool with WWE, man. Let's take it off the books, off the sports books for a second. Take it into Uncle Howdy's recent return with new friends will be the peak of the Wyatt Sick6's run in the WWE. Looking at this graphic, looking at how things transpired last week, and without a spoiler alert, maybe today, how do you think this is going to proceed with this one? Are you in or are you out on this?
You can come back on screen.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Because I got to do something. You see my in or out? All right. Damn it. Turn off. You know what? I was trying to do something cool. Anyway.
The light flicker? The little light flicker, you try to bust a move?
Yeah, I tried to do the same thing I did in my show last week. I'm out, man. Damn it. I'm out. I'm out. Screw it. Anyway, because technology is acting up right now. Anyway, because I got 17 lights. You know, oh, never mind. Hey, I found it, Drew. I got 3 lights on at one time. Let's do it again. I'm out. So the reason I'm out is this, folks. Listen. I technology is a bitch. Listen, see, the thing is that everybody knows I wasn't like a Bray Wyatt enthusiast. Now, when the man passed, I was upset because, you know, you can't deny the man. You cannot deny that what the man did for wrestling. You just can't deny that, right? He had a lot of exciting moments. Unfortunately, he was booked to lose some matches that to this day are still questionable. Him losing the match against John Cena, I feel like killed all momentum. Why he lost to John Cena, to this day, I still do not understand. His run with the WWE Championship, when basically Roman Reigns started the whole tribal chief thing, at that time, the title, he was going against Braun Strowman, and he was the Fiend, and it was like, it was okay. It wasn't great, and he never got his get back. So, do I look at this, saying that to go into this? Because, of course, Bray Wyatt's name carries weight when it comes to this Wyatt Sick6. Drew, to be honest with you, the only reason I'm out is because I need to see something long-term. Now, the impact of what they did last week, it was great. But I need to see something that's long-term. I need to see something that is organized. I just don't want to see this happen for a couple of weeks and then it phases out. I need to see months. I need to see something transpire at Survivor Series. Now, Triple H today on the Pat, people know I'm not a Pat McAfee fan either like that. But I did watch his show today because Colin Cowherd was not on the herd today. And I'm not watching the Herd without Colin Cowherd. I'd rather watch McAfee than watch the Herd with that dude who I don't know, like was it Kevin Sinase, whoever the hell he is. I mean, and then they had the new Joy Taylor. Then they had the new Joy Taylor on the show today. I mean, same look, same, Anyway, and same thing. So basically, Triple H threw out a hint. Wyatt Sick6 versus the Bloodline? There was a hint. Now, if we can get the Survivor Series or before, when you see something like that, maybe I'll be more intrigued. But Drew, long term, I need to see this long term. I can't just sell on it because Bray Wyatt started off so hot, and then they did stupid stuff. Now Vince was in charge at the time, so we did see some stupid stuff when he lost to John Cena, which never should have happened. So this is on Triple H. This is on Triple H. Paul Levesque. That's right. I'm going there now. Triple H. Paul Levesque. What is bald-headed Triple H going to do that long-haired Triple H didn't do? So we'll see.
I mean, Baldy Triple H had presence over the creative storylines when the Fiend was having his last run. Okay, and especially the Firefly Funhouse, all that stuff. I mean, he was a big part of all that.
I did enjoy the Funhouse for some reason. In some twisted way, I enjoyed the Funhouse and the rabbits and the kangaroos.
I did too, man. Like I got a Firefly Funhouse T-shirt in another room. Like I still got it. Like of course, you still see the paraphernalia stuff up there. With the Bray Wyatt stuff and the painting behind me. All right, that I got when I went to Philly last December. So I'm a fan of Bray Wyatt. So of course, I know you aren't really the biggest fan of Bray Wyatt, but when it comes to this right here, when it comes to being out on that, because you did make a good statement with that, because you want to see where it goes. I'm feeling the same way. Being a fan of the Bray Wyatt story, I might have to agree with you on this. I'm out too.
Hold on, before you go any further, can you put me back on screen? You're out? I'm shocked. Oh, sorry, I gotta hear this. This is must-see TV.
It's not, it's not always that we agree with stuff, but at the same time, this is the second time it's happened in this episode already. But when it comes to this topic right here, the sad thing with Bray Wyatt's returns in the past is it seemed like some of those returns very much outshine the rest of those runs because things just kind of went downhill from that point. I put this topic in there thinking that you might run with that and thinking that this would be something that would potentially happen, which it still could. But like you said, Vince McMahon is not in charge of creative anymore. Things are a little bit different. They're not the same as they once were. So when you put all that in perspective and you think about it, Triple H has done some really, really great work. And especially when you see the way that all that was put together last week. Again, those of you who have watched the show tonight, if something has happened, which there's still another hour left in the show, please do not spoil it for me out here in these streams because I want to see it after the show since that's what we got last week too. So here and now when it comes to that, like I'm excited to see this because with things going to Netflix later this year, the start of next year, Monday Night Raw is going to be on Netflix and we're going to see all that as SmackDown goes to USA. Not guaranteed to see that on Friday. That could change dates, but I think Monday Night Raw will stay the same. And I think they're basically laying the foundation for this story to where we can see some more gruesome things from this once it hits to Netflix. Because with actual cable TV, you can't do but so much when it comes to what you could do on TV in comparison to if this was on Netflix. So I think they're laying the ground down. It's going to be a slow building story. Just like we had some slow building parts with the bloodline, this is a different type of bloodline here because it is Bray Wyatt's brother and something that they were starting to form together before Bray, of course, had to take time away and then ended up passing away unexpectedly. So with that, we're now getting a glimpse of what his brother Taylor felt during that documentary about Bray that came out earlier this year. And all of that stuff with the Dreadmare stuff on YouTube, if you haven't seen all that, has been painting a picture for this exact moment that happened last week to transpire. So do I think that it is the peak of its run already with that one moment? No, I do not. I think it was best that they did what they did on an actual show a TV show that they're trying to build into something bigger on a bigger platform than it already has been built in the past 30 plus years that has been on the air. And it's been primarily on USA Network, going to TNN for a little bit, but then coming back. I mean, Spike TV then it was TNN, and then it went back to USA. But it's been primarily on USA Network, Monday Night Raw. The fact that they put this group on Monday Night Raw goes to show how much they're going to build it. And with certain arguments that I've heard from the Monarchs of Wrestling earlier, talking about that they think that, they're going to put Roman Reigns back on Raw and then have two separate factions or whatnot of the bloodline, but not go civil war at each other. I disagree with that. That's for another topic for another date. But when it comes to this, they put them on this show to be a big part of the show as it transitions out of USA TV on the USA Network and onto Netflix, where it gets an even bigger viewing fan base on there. So things are about to change for the WWE a little bit more. We've been seeing a lot of change over the past couple of years, especially with the Vince McMahon stuff. But now that it's under different ownership, now that there's been different groundwork made for creativity, for the creative process with however you want to call him, bald Triple H, without hair, and now Paul Levesque. Yeah, he's been doing a pretty stand-up job. Shawn Michaels, too, over there at NXT and building this. And I feel like they did the right thing with what they did last week on Monday Night Raw, and it's not going to be the peak. We're going to see a lot more. And it's like you said, we got to see more in order to make a big a statement if we think this is going to be the peak, because it's only the beginning of something that could be potentially really great.
Yeah, and I don't want to confuse people. Like, do I think it's going to reach a peak? Yeah, I really do. But the reason I was out is because – but hey, the Bloodline's been going for 4 years, and it's only start now with Jacob. Everything's revitalized, everything's out the door now, so we're back to the first inning. But the reason I say that, I'm out on the peak is because this can't be the peak. It has to be bigger. Something bigger in the future has to happen. And the reason I say that is because you can't waste this. This is something that can't be wasted. So Survivor Series, Money in the Bank, something like that. Something has to happen where it really gets people excited. Now, do I think in the future it's gonna maybe the next? I honestly give it 6 months. I give him a couple more times to make an impact. I give it 6 months, and I think it might die off a little bit. That's why, in my opinion, I would have waited. I would have waited closer to Netflix. Actually, I would have done this. I would have done this on the last Raw before I went to Netflix. And then I would have done some real supernatural stuff. Now, I know people say, well, why wait and all that stuff? Well, listen, you can keep throwing out hints. You can have backstage beatdowns. You could have backstage beatdowns for the next, what is this? We were in June. This is like month 6. For the next 5.5 months, you can have people keep getting beat down, and it's a mystery. And then on the last Raw, they appear. And then you do some supernatural stuff on the first Netflix where everything is just going to be uncensored. Now, let me say something about Netflix. This is my only fear, Drew. My only fear is once they start cursing and doing all the crazy stuff on Netflix, when is it going to start to die out a little bit? Because that's the beauty of wrestling. It's like the curse words get censored. Have you noticed that trend over the years on the internet? Like things get censored, and you know how for a long time people were saying curse words, but people say, oh, they do it for the kids. No, it's more of an effect. That's why when you listen to regular radio, the words get censored out. And remember when you were a kid, the word got censored out and they didn't say certain words? You want to go buy the CD. So that's why on WWE now, the words get censored. You want to go to YouTube. So that's my only fear is going to Netflix. Will the non-censoring kind of make people like, oh, it's not censored anymore. There's no thrill. Why go to YouTube? Blah, blah, blah. But in this instance, the way that this group is structured, I think it'll be perfect. But it has to be played right, because a few missteps and a few lazy missteps, the story could go kaboom. Like Martin, kaboom! Like a cold from Martin, kaboom!
I think they wanted to, the way that Bray Wyatt had come back during that last run, things didn't really get a chance to take off, because it was just starting to build. And then, of course, he had to take time away for the illness. Around the time that he passed away, it was less than a week before that they had reported that he was eyeing a return, like he was working towards that return. Then, of course, on August of last year, he passed away. So I think that they're trying to capitalize on some type of momentum left from the spark of his last run before it's too late, while the people still really remember Bray Wyatt for his impact here in WWE.
And let's be honest about something. That match against LA Knight did him no favors. What was it? The Skittles match?
Yeah. The Mountain Dew Pitch Black match.
The Mountain Dew.
Yeah, but you might as well call it the Skittles match because the way they looked and the way everything looked. Yeah, and the shooting of all the color. Yeah.
What the hell was that?
And the way Bray Wyatt looked. Yeah. That's not the way I want to remember him.
If you look back at that match, you could tell something was off with him because he didn't look right. If you honestly go back and look, you could tell something was off of him. But again, if you go back to his career, they screwed up so much. Like again, the John Cena loss, some of the title matches he had, he should have had better runs. When he was, oh my God, I just thought about it. When he was with Broken Matt Hardy, what a fucking waste.
The Lake of Reincarnation. Take this vessel. Yeah, all that wild shenanigery that was coming out of Matt Hardy's mouth. It was wild.
What about when he was going against Randy Orton?
In the fire to the barn or whatever. Yeah.
Randy Orton took an Uber.
And pulled up out the Uber and it went to land to smack it down. Yes. That was. You gotta admit.
Bray Wyatt got burned. He got burned alive. And listen, all we were missing was Paul Bearer. Here comes Bray Wyatt. Here comes Bray Wyatt. He's alive. He's alive. Sister Abigail's alive.
Oh wow. Speaking of jumping in with the comments like Paul Bearer could have if he did, Melvin jumps in and says, "Good evening, gentlemen." And that's Rob's response to you there, Melvin, as Melvin says, "Sorry, I am late." Well, glad to have you here, Melvin. Appreciate you for tuning in. That Willie Bucks commercial gets me every time. He says, shout out to Darrell for the voiceover for that Willie Bucks commercial. And bust a move. Yeah, Rob was busting a move for a second with that light. And then he said, technology failed Rob. Laugh out loud, I guess, with your light clicking over there.
Yeah, well, Mr. Ike, I have three tripods and I mishandled. But listen, what was that comment? What was that comment about failed? No, who failed were the authorities when Paul Bearer was in the cement and they couldn't get him out in time before he passed away. Kayfabe.
Yeah, and then he did it in real life. Yeah, good old Paul Bearer.
Rest in peace, old Paul Bearer. You fat
rest
son of a bitch.
Rest in peace, him and Bray Wyatt, all that Lake of Reincarnation, all that wild stuff. Jeez,
Ocean of Reincarnation. delete.
Oh, you want that? I got you. Oh no, it's not on this clip. I had it. Take StreamYard, you're moving multiple things around on me tonight. I don't even know where my delete button is, but it's up in here somewhere. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and delete this segment, take it on into the next one, and take it into round 4.
Round 4.
Here with round 4, Rob, we got to take a look at the greatest player. He's still getting himself together for that one. You got to take a look at the greatest player to ever wear the number 12 in all of sports history. Tom Brady is the greatest athlete to ever wear the number 12 in all of said sports history. How do you feel about that? Do you agree with the statement at hand? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Hey, before I say that, Paul Bearer also called 12 an Undertaker buried family. Okay, let me get serious.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Michael Buffer in the house.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go. It's Tom Brady. I'm gonna go out. All right, I'm gonna bring up a name for you guys because I looked this up, did some research. Tom Brady, unquestionably, is he one of the greatest 12s? Yes, but we're talking about a sport here especially in this era in the 1960s into the 50s into the 60s. It was such a tough sport. You had to be a man to play this sport. This man had 261 goals, 346 assists, and a plus or minus of plus 63 in 719 games. I'm talking about Montreal Canadiens player Dickie Moore, who helped them win 5 straight Stanley Cups from 56 to 60. He has 6 overall. That's 1 off from Tom Brady. And if the COVID Super Bowl hadn't happened, listen, if everybody wants to discredit the Lakers COVID championship, well, damn it, I'm going to discredit the Bucks championship. And Dickie Moore had 6 just like Tom Brady, but Tom Brady really has 7. So I'm gonna give it to Dickie Moore because for the base of argument, for the base of debate, for the base of Paul Bearer, for the base of look how inappropriate. Look how inappropriate that is, Drew. You got fire in the back, and that killed the whole family. What is wrong with you? How irresponsible of you to have fire in the back when that killed a whole family, a family of the in Death Valley, California. Anyway, and shout out to the Cardinals for beating my Braves, you sons of bitches. Anyway, I'm gonna give it to Dickie Moore. I'm gonna give it to Dickie Moore. 6 championships, 5 in a row with the Montreal Canadiens. That's impressive when you bring 5 straight Stanley Cup championships. Dickie Moore. Dickie Moore.
Did you pick him for what his accomplishments were because he had a cool name in your opinion?
Well, I mean, anytime, I mean, hey, listen, can I get that coffee? Number 12, Dickie Moore. He's going ahead. Think about that. You're going to get a coffee at 7 o'clock in the morning. Dickie Moore, come get your coffee. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm Dickie Moore. I'm number 12. I got 5 Stanley Cups and 6 championships. It's 1 off from Tom Brady. We know Tom Brady's the greatest, but I had to debate it. I had to give some perspective. I had to show. I was going to say Terry Bradshaw, but he's got 212 touchdowns with 210 interceptions. Y'all don't qualify. And Joe Namath, good God, his numbers are horrible. And that fixed Super Bowl he won, but we won't talk about that either.
Okay. All right.
I'm not saying it was fixed, Drew. I'm not saying it was fixed. I'm just saying the Colts were a lot better than the Jets. And somehow they won that Super Bowl. And Joe Namath's numbers are horrible, like 165 touchdowns, 200-some interceptions, and he's revered in New York forever.
You got to look at like Roger Staubach and all that stuff too. Is Warren 12 as well, but they're not even close to the conversation.
No,
or Tom Brady. But looking at this, and I normally say for the sake of debate, but I don't even have to on this one. I'm in. Very solid argument with old Dickie Moore there, Rob. It seemed like you were really enjoying saying his name, but I will say this with Tom Brady. Okay. Regardless if you think that there was some scandals in there, whether we know this or know that, and if it's true or if it's not, and if he did have the roast of Tom Brady and they acknowledged certain things here and there to an extent, and you had some funny business going on upstairs too. We talked about the Texans earlier. We got to talk about good old Bobby Kraft. He's been dipping into some waters too. They couldn't even really talk about it on the show just because of the presence of him being there. Had to back down from it. What I am going to say with this is regardless of what was going on off the field, when it came to on the field, has the game changed a lot since back when, other teams have been dominant like the Steelers, where it was much harder back then to win 4 Super Bowls in the 70s like they did. The Patriots are in a much different era over the past that 20-year span where they were dominant pretty much with 2 different dynasties within that 20-year span. It takes a special talent, okay, to be a part of not 1 dynasty, but 2. If there's some scandals in between here and there, you might have drafted a murderer who was, hanging out on your team, posing as a tight end. We already know how all that went down. But right here and right now, when you look at, yes, you say the 6 with that team, but he also was great enough that in his 40s, his early 40s, he leaves the team he's been with for 20 years. And goes and takes another team that had a quarterback the year before who threw just as many interceptions as he did touchdowns, even though he did throw a lot of touchdowns, but he threw just as many interceptions. And that team couldn't get over the hump because they didn't have the quality leadership or the consistent play out of their quarterback, being Jameis Winston. And he hasn't fully recovered since then, not landing a starting gig since. But you take a 42-year-old at the time who's coming from a team that he'd been with for 20 years, won during 2 different dynasties. 3 out of 4 years the won the first time, and it took him a lot harder of chances to get it in the second go around, winning 1 every 2 years in the middle span of the 2010s. Okay, just from that span, and then 2 years after he won the last one, because he had the bad year in 2019. They had just won in 2018. The first year he's in Tampa Bay, regardless how you feel with the COVID rules and the asterisks or whatever, and the way things went about back then, Tom Brady was still dedicated enough to the craft of football that when we got smacked in the mouth with the pandemic, when we created this show 4 years ago to this day with the first episode, Tom Brady was out there getting caught in public beaches and public areas trying to practice with his teammates when there was mandated rules. Not many people at 42 are going to be that dedicated to the game of football. Dickie Moore played 17 years and at 42 years old was enjoying retirement, okay? At 42 years old, Tom Brady was preparing to play another year and chase a ring without Belichick, and he succeeded. The last 2 years didn't necessarily go the way he wanted to because he didn't get rings those last 2 years. But that last year, even though it wasn't that great on paper as a team, he had a respectable numbers as a quarterback. And the year before that had the greatest set of numbers he'd had in some categories, and getting an MVP in the process too. So when you put all that together and you think about what he did outside of the Belichick regime and the New England Patriots, because it was mainly him, Belichick, and Kraft that entire time. You put all that together and you think about the fact that he did that without them one time. 6 with the man and with the way things went are one thing, but the fact that you have more Super Bowl rings than anybody in the entire league, as far as all 32 teams in the league, Tom Brady has more Super Bowls than any other team. With that, and put the key, if you never really thought about that before, think about that. And because of that, I have to give him the greatest to wear number 12, even if he played in a more pacified era, even if rules were changed to help the quarterback during that time. He still made the best of it and won 7 championships in a 23-year span. That's like one every 3.5 years or something.
Well, Mr. Moore won 6, and again, we look at from when the Canadians won 5 straight. They won 4-1 against the Detroit Wings. They won against the Boston Bruins 4-1. They beat the Boston Bruins again, who at that time was a great team, as has always been a great hockey town. Beat them 4-2, 4-1, 4-2, and they beat the Toronto Maple Leafs, which is a rivalry beyond rivalries, 4-1. They beat the Maple Leafs again 4-0 in 1960. Tom Brady is one of the greatest of all time. I'm not going to deny that. But like I said, for the fact of debate, I had to switch it up a little bit. Plus, look at the Patriots. They were a horrible call away from Tom Brady having 6. He lost to Eli Manning, who is he's a good football player all the time. I'm not going to call Eli Manning great, but he's good. Lost to him twice. And let's be honest here. Yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were not the same team as Jameis Winston, but we got to admit one thing. They were loaded. They were very loaded. And as much as this guy can be a headache, sometimes he can be off the rocker. Antonio Brown made a huge difference. Antonio Brown made a huge difference on that team. We saw how that Tampa team got next year once he left the team. So he was a big part. But it's almost a 1A, 1B. You can't deny either one. But Tom Brady is one of the greatest players we've ever seen, one of the greatest leaders we've ever seen. But like I said, Mr. Moore, to win 5 straight in hockey, especially at that time, where you look at the guys fighting now and getting hit, it was worse back then. So, I mean, at times they didn't even play with face masks, I don't believe. They didn't play with helmets. Those guys were freaking crazy. So to win 5 straight in the NHL and then to have 6 overall, but I'm just giving him the argument, but we all know it's Tom Brady. But I got to give Mr. Moore some love, man. 6 championships in the National Hockey League. That's more than Wayne Gretzky, I believe.
That was somebody I did not expect you to bring up, and actually a great argument there. So I'll at least give you that. I just think about when you're playing NHL, right? And there's records out there that players need to beat. Are there people out there gunning for a Dickie Moore record, or are they gunning for Tom Brady's record to say he's got like 100,000 passing yards between playoffs and regular season combined? Okay,
I mean,
that's something that will never be beat. Six-figure stat line.
Depends on where you're living, because I tell you one thing right now. If you go to Canada right now and ask somebody, they'll tell you because see, that's the thing. In America, we love football, but down in Mexico, they love football, and up north, they love hockey. Who across seas, we don't, a lot of them, they love hockey, they love football. So when you talk about 6 Stanley Cups and 5 straight, that's a benchmark. That's a benchmark. I mean, like I said, the Patriots could have won more than 3 straight, but they had what was it, between 2004 and 2014 before they next. But that is one thing that is impressive. I believe it was 04 to 14 when they won the Super Bowl, 10 years. But there was so much great competition. So I can't give Tom Brady credit in that for sure. But 5 straight Stanley Cup finals, man, that's big time. That's big time. But we all know Tom Brady's one of the greatest of all time. But we got to give the NHL some love. The National Hockey League is such a great league.
I respect that take, man. Like, so you guys let us know here in the comments what you think. That was definitely a great argument to go up against Tom Brady that I was not expecting. But when it comes to greatness, can't expect anything less from Robb, man. That was definitely great. With that being said, we got to take it into our last commercial break. We'll come on back to the final round after that break.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason.
In a world where chronicles of the past are brought to the streams, whether the content is relatable or completely beyond your realm of life, there is no shadow of a doubt that this show is absolutely full of shenanigans. Get ready for
D. Willie in the Evening.
This Sunday at 10:05 p.m. Eastern.
Exclusively on SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network proudly presents The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson, live every weekday morning beginning April 29th at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. Every Tuesday at 11:05 a.m. Eastern, 10:05 a.m. Central on the SIRTOBA Media YouTube channel. Music by J. Cool.
Where's my soldiers? Right side. Commanders. Where's my soldiers? Left side.
Welcome back to the In or Out Sports Debate, episode 112, the 4-year anniversary edition, special edition, here tonight on that date. We've gone through 4 great rounds already with only one more left to go through, and that is the final round.
final round.
Here with the final round. It's time to talk about the Lakers and Yo King, LeBron James. Let's talk about the fact that hiring J.J. Reddick as head coach will be a bigger fail than firing Darvin Ham prematurely for the Lakers. You put all that in perspective. How do you think about this one, Rob? Do you agree with this one at hand? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I'm out. I don't think he's going to be a fail. The reason I say that is the Lakers have had so many coaches since Phil Jackson left. This is a management problem. And I don't know how they got to the point of hiring J.J. Reddick. I personally would have hired Sam Cassell. But if you look at J.J. Reddick's career, overall, he scored, 12 points a game throughout his career. 12, I believe it's like 12.8, something like that throughout his career. Steve Kerr only averaged he only averaged about 12.8 points per game. Steve Kerr only managed to score 6 points per game in his career. I feel that J.J. Reddick is a good hire in this sense. They need somebody to come in there that has like a point guard's experience. Do I think they should have fired Darvin Ham? No, but I do think there are times where the Lakers could have been better. The problem with the Lakers is that they ran to Denver twice. They got to the Western Conference Finals. They got to the first round. They played Denver really tough. But they got to get better on the defensive side. Their key for the Lakers right now, and I think J.J. Reddick will understand this, they have to make sure they start first with drafting Deron Holmes in the first round. That's number one. Number two, there are a lot of good players in the draft. You do that. You do all that different type of stuff. If you're going to take Bronny James, you sign him as an undrafted free agent. That's bottom line. You don't draft him because I still think that, if he hadn't had the heart attack, I believe he would have been a draftable player. But I think because of the heart attack and, and everything that he had went to the season, I think that he's going to have to take some time to continue to develop his game. I think eventually he'll be a good player. But I think J.J. Reddick comes into play with all that. I believe he's a smart guy. I've seen the way he's dealt with adversity. Anytime a guy can go into Maryland and take the abuse that he took, he'll be fine. After I saw J.J. Reddick against Maryland, and he took the abuse he took, he can handle anything. I think he'll be I think surprisingly he will get along with the players a lot more. So I think this is a good move. I feel bad for Darvin Ham, but I also think Darvin Ham going back to Milwaukee was a good thing. I believe he'll be a head coach again soon. But to me, Drew, like I said, I'm out. But I think this is a bigger problem. Rob Pelinka, management, even the Kobe era since Phil Jackson. Every 2 years, they're averaging a new coach. Frank Vogel won a championship. He's out. This is a management problem. So I just want to put that out there too. I think this is completely a management problem. But I think J.J. Reddick will do well.
Very, very good take on that. And a lot of things you said I definitely am on the same side with, but the overall message here with this, I disagree with. I'm going to go in. This is not because some of you out there feel like I am a hater towards Yo King, LeBron James, okay? However, this pick is a nepotism pick because, of course, him and J.J. Reddick have that podcast they've been doing for one. And yes, J.J. Reddick has been doing a very solid job of breaking the game down with, LeBron to help us understand, those of us out there. There's certain elements to it that we hadn't, thought of before, breaking it down for us so that way we can see it through their eyes as, professional players because, J.J. Reddick was a professional. And the comparison to Steve Kerr was definitely a great one right there. I definitely agree with that too. I just think that there's another point in there that you said that I want to shed more light on. One, they definitely missed it with Sam Cassell because he definitely deserves to be the head coach over J.J. Reddick. Now, J.J. Reddick was hired on to be an assistant. I would be full on board with that because then you got the support of LeBron, can help spread the message that the two of you see through your eyes that you're telling on your podcasts anyway. So, I mean, if they're really good teammates and bought in, you wouldn't even really have to tell them because they're already just going to see and acknowledge what they're seeing around them. Again, nothing that I'm saying is being an exact hater on LeBron, but what I am going to say is this was a pick of nepotism for one. JJ Reddick is not fully qualified to be a head coach, in my opinion, because Steve Kerr was something that we argued back then when he was brought in place of old Mr. Jackson over there, who had built something pretty special. And then he comes in and kind of takes the work that somebody else had been building and rep the benefits of it. This right here, if JJ Reddick has success with the Lakers in the next year or two, especially with LeBron, and if Bronny does get drafted in the second round or however that goes, they sign him to a G League contract. And he eventually works his way up, however they want to play the cards with that to make that look like it's a less of a nepotism pick there too. This whole thing between JJ Reddick and then Bronny in the headlines and all this stuff is screaming nepotism to the highest of powers, and it's all coming from UK LeBron James. That is my point there. Now, what Robb is saying here about giving him a chance and everything, I can see his point too. But when it comes to the second debate, when it comes to the fact that somebody has their hands up into management, like you said, there's problems with management in a lot of places, like previously with the Cleveland Cavaliers, it only worked out to where, yeah, they went to 4 straight championships, but they only won 1, okay? They won the Eastern Conference Championship 4 straight years, but they only got 1. And just like in the previous 4 years, the Heat had gone to 4 straight championship, Eastern Conference Finals and 1, but they only got 2 out of those 4. So out of 8 straight years, the man got 3 titles. Then gets the bubble championship, which I throw a huge asterisk on for the Lakers. And now with all of those things set aside, since that year, we are now 3 going on 4 years removed fully. Now, yeah, because I mean, the bubble championship was pushed back a little bit because everything was shut down for a while. We're almost 4 years removed from that bubble championship, and things have continued to trend downward. A change in management happened at that point when you brought in the Darvin Ham to replace googly eyes David Blatt or whatnot before that. And then all this stuff been trying to bring in Ty Lue potentially. He didn't want to come there. And then you got the college coach who didn't want to come there either, and they were offering him a pretty nice deal, didn't want to come there. So you take the next best thing that's a pick that LeBron James wanted because he has so much chemistry with them with running a podcast. Well, I hate to tell you and break it down to you, but running a podcast is much different than running an actual professional team. And for me, I don't know if JJ Reddick can handle it all or not because, yeah, he was a utility player, spent a lot of time around the coaching staff, not as much on the floor, and can see things through their eyes. And with the combination of LeBron, they had the potential to do something special. But I think there's too much noise. And, of course, King wants to be acknowledged as the greatest all the time instead of just playing the game and we'll figure it all out when he's done. Wanting to be acknowledged as the greatest before he even hangs it up. So when you got the big old egotistical LeBron James known as King on your team and your buddies with the coach, I just don't think that it's going to work out in the greatest of factors for that. And Robb, when it comes to that, how do you feel?
Cool. Let me ask you this. Paul Silas, after he was LeBron's coach, what happened to him? Did he win a championship? I want to do like a quick yes or no. Did he win a championship after LeBron?
With LeBron?
No, did he win one after? I mean, he didn't win one with him, but what was the success after that? None.
I mean, yeah, that'd be true.
Yeah, Brendan Malone, good interim coach. He was gone. They brought in Mike Brown. You know, what did he do after that? What's Mike Brown? Mike Brown been back to the finals? No. Eric Spoelstra, great coach, right? Great coach.
Eric Spoelstra has been to a finals, though.
He has, but did he win?
Without LeBron James?
Has he won a championship without LeBron James?
No, but that still doesn't mean that.
But LeBron beat him in the finals. That's just a fact. I'm not listening. We all know I'm a Bulls fan all the time. Michael Jordan's my favorite player of all time. But LeBron James is up in the Mount Rushmore. He won't ever pass Michael Jordan, but he's up there. David Blatt, Who the hell is David Black before LeBron James?
Googlia. Yeah, I call him Googlia.
Mr. Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue is a great coach. Has he been back to the finals since LeBron James? Or has he been failing in the first round with the Clippers, who have talent?
Yeah, you got a good point there.
Luke Walton, where the hell has he been?
Very good point.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Frank Vogel, how's that working out in Phoenix, buddy? You're supposed to have 3 great superstars. Where have you been? Oh, that's right. You got swept in the first round by a Minnesota team who have been underachieving since the 20s. Darvin Ham, great coach, great young coach. Didn't get it done. I guess my point is, Drew, this is my point when I say this, right?
They don't have patience.
I get you. But
Look at how long Jordan was with Doug Collins, and then they transitioned to Phil Jackson, who was already on the coaching staff and was elevated. It was still a fixture within the system.
True. But that's my point. The reason Michael Jordan and the reason Phil Jackson worked out so well, I mean, you go from Michael Jordan, and it was the perfect storm, man. Phil Jackson's one of those coaches. If LeBron had a Phil Jackson, I don't think there would have been issues. See, a lot of these guys that coach LeBron, they're good. They're not Phil Jackson great. Phil Jackson had the right formula. When he came with the Bulls, they had Scottie, they had Michael. It was the right formula. When he went to the Lakers, it was the right formula. If you ask me who LeBron's greatest coach was, it was Tyronn Lue. But I will say this, if Mark Jackson had become the coach of the Lakers, I definitely think they would have a lot more success. But going back to your point about the Connecticut coach, Drew, I don't mean to kill anybody's mojo out there. He was never coming to the Lakers because guess what? I knew JJ was coming all along. They reported this 2-3 months ago. So you know what the coach from Connecticut was? He was a smokescreen. He won't never come into LA. First of all, why would you come to LA when the taxes are absolutely crazy? They're already crazy in New Jersey, New York area, and Connecticut area. They're crazier in California. The cost of living, everybody's abandoning California. Everybody's moving out the state. You got to deal with all the craziness in California. And then, second of all, when you look at the whole situation, he's waiting for the Knicks job to open up. He won't come into California, man. He's a Jersey guy. He's waiting for either the Nets or the Knicks to open up. Let's be real. And they only offered him, $70 million? Come on now. They offered Mike Krzyzewski like 40-some million back in 2004. So look how much inflation has grown in 20 years. No, if they were serious, if they were really serious, it would have been $100 million. John Gruden got $100 million from the Raiders, and they're broke.
Yeah, true.
So come on, man. So the thing is, we already knew this was in place. Like I said, I think that JJ Reddick is going to be more. See, if you've ever seen JJ Reddick on TV, he's a feisty cat. He's a feisty cat, and he don't play games. You may look at him on TV. People may look at him on TV and say, "Oh, this dude is soft." No, this dude is JJ Reddick's not soft. He will let you know what it is. So I think it's a really good pick. Now, as far as Bronny goes, you don't draft Bronny. You bring him in as an undrafted free agent. There are so many good players in this draft. The Lakers could really earn their depth in this draft. Like I said, you start with DeRon Holmes, you got your second round pick, and they're still looking at Jamonte Murray from Atlanta. So you could get some picks from that too. I just feel that this is a good move, but let me say this. If this ends up falling on his head, LeBron James, in my opinion, will lose some of his points as far as the Mount Rushmore. He may drop a few spots because I think that this hire by JJ Reddick, I'm not going to call it a complete nepotism pick, but I will say I think that if he succeeds with JJ Reddick, it can make him look even smarter. If it doesn't, there could be consequences as far as his all-time stature, as far as number 2. He could fall some slots. That's just my opinion. He could fall. So this success that they're going to have with JJ Reddick is critically important. And let's be honest, they were just in the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago against the then champs who won the championship that year. So basically, they got a Denver problem. They don't have a coaching problem. They have a Denver problem, and they have an upstairs problem. Genie bus is an issue. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, but here's the thing. People always talk about if Dr. Jerry Buss was alive, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Magic Johnson did get a coach fired. Magic Johnson did throw his weight around in the 80s. Let's not forget about that. So let's not just act like this is the first time it's happened. Magic Johnson threw his weight around back then, too. So it ain't the first time Lakers had a player throw their weight around. So it ain't nothing new. It's just that we're living in the social media age where everything gets reported. But trust me, Magic was throwing his weight around back then, too.
I like how you broke that down, especially with talking about Bronny should be, an undrafted free agent because of the
there's
depth
no way he should be drafted. There's no way he should be drafted.
I just think that if they don't take him, then another team will, and it's going to mess up LeBron's plans of wanting to play with this kid, and it screws everything up. And, unless I'm missing it, LeBron hasn't re-signed yet. So what if Bronny gets taken by another team, LeBron says to hell with it, and decides to go to the other team and play with his son, even if it's a different team?
Well, all I'm going to say is that this is all I'm going to say about this situation. And it's about a 1%, 3% chance. Do not count out the Dallas Mavericks getting LeBron James. That's all I'm going to say.
They run it back with Kyrie, and if they draft Bronny.
Yeah. The one team, like I said, I'm going to say, watch out for the Dallas Mavericks. That's the only team I see them going to because there have been rumblings. There have been, Now, let me throw this out because I know we're a little bit over time. Let me throw this out here at you as well. It would also be cool if the Cleveland Cavaliers drafted Bronny and then trade him to the Lakers because then it's like, oh, man, Or what if the Cavaliers draft Bronny or sign him? LeBron decides to go back to Cleveland. Who knows? So those are my two teams, Cleveland
or Dallas.
Cleveland and Dallas. Those are the two teams that LeBron could possibly go to. But other than that, I give it a 1 or 2% chance. But other than that, because of rumblings I've heard, rumors, etc. But hey, just saying.
A lot of great takes.
And then if he leaves JJ Redick in LA when he's not there, oh my God, you talking about a story.
Imagine how awkward their podcast would go from that point forward if it continues to go with everything.
They can't do the podcast anymore. I mean, imagine somebody made a great point today. Imagine they're on an off day and have 2 glasses of wine, and the next day they're sluggish. We're gonna blame it on the alcohol, so they can't do that podcast anymore.
Maybe once LeBron retires, and we'll see where JJ Redick's coaching career goes. We'll have to see how all that pans back out if they come back together or not.
Check this out. If JJ Redick has success with LeBron, and then he gets fired by the Lakers, he don't have to worry about it because when LeBron is the owner of the new Vegas franchise, he can come coach over there.
Facts. That's a good one. And Rob, you even get an agreement from Ike saying he agrees with you on this topic, saying that he is out as well when it comes to this right here. So you guys definitely on the same page there. We'll see what everybody else says after this is live here in a little bit too, when they check it after it's been shared a bunch of times. But other than that, we have to acknowledge something before we get on out of here, and that is Rob's re-entry into the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
That's right. That's the In or Out Sports Debate Vault of Fame. Rob Johnson is now a 16-time Vault of Fame inductee here in the In or Out Sports Debate. He now moves up the chart a little bit more with 16 appearances just behind Joey Raymond for second place here. The Vault of Fame leaderboard. Give it some time. You might even catch up to him. Kyle Nash in third right there. Darrell Owens just hit number 7 a couple weeks ago. Corey Mann recently hit number 6. We have 3 panelists tied with 4 appearances, 6 tied with 3, 10 tied with 2, and 1 tied. Number 1 spot tied with 16 as far as one time on the show, totaling 40 people that have been on the In or Out Sports Debate in this 4-year span coming into tonight's 4-year anniversary episode, which you can find on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, between Legacy Maker Sports Network having the first 90 episodes, and now was having about 22 episodes here on SIRTOBA Media's website and pages. Again, SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
We are here tonight for episode 112 of the In or Out Sports Debate. Rob Johnson and myself went 5 rounds tonight, battling back and forth. You guys let us know here in the comments. Looked like Rob has the leg up with the amount of comments that said they agree with Rob. And with that being said, we have to go to one last thing, Rob. I know you got something on your mind. We got to take it to the final word. I can see it in your eyes. I can see the gears turning. I know you got something cooking up there for the final word. What are your thoughts there, brother?
Yeah, man. I think you should get a sponsorship for this show, man. And right here it says the most popular fast food chains in every state. 4 of the states like In-N-Out, California, Vegas, Arizona, and Utah. That's right, Drew. Take it national. Take go to those states. The In-N-Out debate show, and you also get an In-N-Out burger for free if you listen to the show, share, and you pay money. That's what I'm talking about. Go to those states and get some sponsorship. I would definitely go to Utah though. Utah is a good state to go to, definitely. But besides all that, I just saw this thing right here in front of 50 states, and like everybody else loves Chick-fil-A, but whatever. Anyway, but let me say this, folks. Sports folks, we're only a couple of months away from football preseason, football, blah, blah, blah. But right now, it is intriguing baseball going on. You got to make sure you're checking out the baseball. Baseball is a great sport going on. We got the Stanley Cup Finals going on. The Panthers lead the Oilers 2-1. Great soccer going on. A lot of great sports out there right now. We got the women playing rugby. Just a lot of good sports out there. So we know WNBA is out there. I'm talking about that every Sunday night, and 2 times I'm doing my show. Rob Johnson sports show during the week. Just continue to enjoy the sports. And like I said, it's more than football out there. So definitely make sure you guys tune into the baseball this summer. There's a lot of great races going on in the NL, the AL. The NL is ridiculous with their wild card right now. The Braves are bipolar, so I'm tearing my hair out every other day. So yeah, go baseball. And the Red Sox won again today. The Red Sox are hot. So hey man, baseball is going to be great this summer. And the Baltimore Orioles are starting to struggle. So don't be shocked if the Red Sox will catch them going to the second half. You better watch out for teams like the Red Sox and the Cincinnati Reds. I'm telling you folks, baseball is going to be super in the second half. Can't wait. You
got to look at what Ellie De La Cruz has meant to the Reds. I mean, that's somebody that I still give you props to this day, as there was not many people talking about him, up before he came up to the major leagues, except for you. I remember how high you were on him before he got here, and look at the impact he's made on that Reds team.
Don't worry, he'll be a Dodger in 3 years.
That's pretty much how it works out. A lot of these great players end up going there. They're the new Yankees of baseball in today's modern age.
He'll end up getting a billion. He'll end up being one of those guys who's the first guy to get $1 billion deal from the Dodgers, even though they ain't got no money to feed the homeless in LA.
With my final word, I'm gonna take it into a little bit different of a direction, man. But definitely a great take. Hopefully I don't butcher this as I take this down. I had to protect it, keeping it up on the shelf. But the belt, man, in or out sports debates on there. All the major shows are on this thing. I got to give a shout out to Robb, though, because Robb was one of the ones who first inspired me to get a belt for SIRTOBA Media. And, with what he's done with Robb Johnson Media and has been building things up like he's got on Instagram and other platforms, it's the things he's done out here with that motivated me towards, maybe having one of these units one day and having a championship. And it feels even more special knowing that we have the 4-year anniversary special on the day that I already still do the shows now on Mondays. And it happened to be the exact date that the first episode went. And this belt just got here a little over a month ago, probably about 6 weeks ago. Took a couple pictures with the long hair, like over on that side over there. And we're now at 112 episodes, man. So out of all the projects I've done out here in these streets and in the streams, this one is by far at the top of the charts. And, now 16 times that he's on here, it's even more special, man. On the anniversary date, we got to the Ric Flair woo times. I'm even worn out from all the woos, but I wanted to make sure that as we celebrate kind of a championship-like moment, that we got to celebrate the championship belt. Because like yourself, you got one, now I got one. Shout out to the Wrestling Realm, which I'm rocking their shirt tonight. Championship Culture, the brand by Brandon Guy, and has the third, old brother Hugh Scott, who without them, this belt wouldn't be here. But also with the inspiration like Robb and others, this wouldn't be here either. So wanted to make sure I celebrated him in this final moment of the show before we take it to a badass outro.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing real quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I also want to shout out Linux44. I've been wanting to do this for about 3 months now. I want to shout out Linux44, aka Mr. What is this dude's name? Hassan. What the hell is this dude's name? I gotta get his name. With Hassan, whatever his name is, but he has a LeBron James face. Shout out to him for making this comment on my Rob Johnson Entertainment. You do realize that Fresh Prince was not real, right? I said, that's the point. It's a joke. He really thought that my Fresh Prince video was real. Like, it's a joke. And listen, God bless you all in the internet world. You know, God bless the people who are smart. God bless the stupid. God bless the really stupid. And God bless the ignorant. I pray for you. Good night, folks.
Rob is basically praying for everybody out here. Taking
and
things
Paul Bearer.
And Paul Bearer taking things to a whole new level. We had his final words and we had mine. And then we went from final words to Paul Bearer one more time. It is wild out here in these streets. But for Rob Johnson, for myself, for the 4 years on this streams, for everything that we've accomplished together and apart, everybody, as always, stay safe out here in these streets.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
You don't have to go home, but you got to get yourself on up out of here. Episode 112's in the book. 4 years are in the book. We'll see you next week for episode 113.